This is from a short story by Leo Tolstoi called The Death of Ivan Ivanovich. Peter Ivanovich continued to make the sign of the cross, slightly inclining his head in an intermediate direction between the coffin, the reader, and the icons on the table in a corner of the room. Afterwards, when it seemed to him that this movement of his arm in crossing himself had gone on too long, he stopped and began to look at the corpse. The dead man lay, as dead men always lie, in a specially heavy way, his rigid limbs sunk in the soft cushions of the coffin, with the head forever bowed on the pillow. His yellow waxen brow, with bald patches over his sunken temples, was thrust up in the way peculiar to the dead. The protruding nose seeming to press on the upper lip. He was much changed and had grown even thinner since Peter Ivanovich had last seen him. But, as is always the case with the dead, his face was handsomer and, above all, more dignified than when he was alive. The expression on the face said that what was necessary had been accomplished, and accomplished rightly. Besides, there was in that expression a reproach and a warning to the living. This warning seemed to Peter Ivanovich out of place, or at least not applicable to him. He felt a certain discomfort, and so he hurriedly crossed himself once more and turned and went out of the door. Too hurriedly and too regardless of propriety, as he himself was aware. Schwartz was waiting for him in the adjoining room, with legs spread wide apart and both hands toying with his top hat behind his back. The mere sight of that playful, well-groomed, and elegant figure refreshed Peter Ivanovich. He felt that Schwartz was above all these happenings and would not surrender to any depressing influences. His very look said that this incident of a church service for Ivan Ilyich could not be a sufficient reason for infringing the order of the session. In other words, that it would certainly not prevent his unwrapping a new pack of cards and shuffling them that evening while a footman placed 4 fresh candles on the table. In fact, that there was no reason for supposing that this incident would hinder their spending the evening agreeably. Indeed, he said this in a whisper as Peter Ivanovich passed him, proposing that they should meet for a game at Fedor Vassilievich. But apparently Peter Ivanovich was not destined to play bridge that evening. Praskovia Fedorovna, a short, fat woman who, despite all efforts to the contrary, had continued to broaden steadily from her shoulders downwards, and who had the same extraordinarily arched eyebrows as the lady who had been standing by the coffin, dressed all in black, her head covered with lace, came out of her own room with some other ladies, conducted them to the room where the dead body play and said, "The service will begin immediately. Please go in."